One, two, three. Want to welcome everybody to Mom and Dad Talks, where our favorite two people are mom and dad. We have our special co-host, my good friend and cousin and brother from another mother, Carlin Alford. Carlin, welcome to the show. And usually when I have you, we have great topics, but you know, we both love Deion Sanders. I love what he's doing with his program. I love what he's doing with the community. I love what he's doing with kids. I love what he's doing bringing people together of all ethnicities and stuff, how life is supposed to work here in the United States. I love he's bringing a microcosm of what the world should be, and he's making it happen in this place. But as you know, the haters will always hate. I mean, we talked about it on our show. We said that, you know what? He's putting something together that's pretty nice. And I was like, I like what I was seeing, because when you are disciplined, we're going to have you talking in a second, but when you are disciplined, chances are you're going to win more games than the undisciplined team. That's just a fact. Turnovers and mistakes are a big part of the game. The team that does the least amount of turnovers and mistakes usually will win if they're a good team. And this dude has done a phenomenal job with his coaching staff, with everything, with the odds against him, getting his kids and putting a team together. And what's really scary, Carlin, Matt Rule, Nebraska could have had the opportunity to get the same coach. Little dicey right now. So what are your thoughts on this whole situation with Deion and what's going on right now?
Well, Coach Prime, as he prefers to be called, he's just doing what he told everybody he was gonna do. And that's the problem. That's the problem people have, right? The people who don't like Deion don't like the fact that he called a shot. That's what it boils down to. I've had several interactions on social media with people, mostly just people who are trolling and saying, you know, he's a clown. Look at the sunglasses and the gold chain or whatever, and he still got him. That's what he did. He came up with that persona in his dorm room at Florida State. He told everybody this, like, that ain't even me, right? He's from Fort Myers, Florida. He loves to be outdoors. He likes to fish. He's an outdoorsman. He's country, right? But he came up with this so slick, you know, Deion Sanders, prime time. Neon, he hates Neon Deion, by the way. So
we'll change that. We will change that. We'll call him Coach.
Yeah, Coach Prime. So at any rate, you know, I'm not surprised. I followed his story from day one. I'm unashamedly a Deion Sanders fan. I've had the privilege of meeting him a couple of times. He's awesome. He's a gentleman of the highest order. He's a man of God. He openly, and this is the thing: people who don't follow him don't know. Mm-hmm. Every day he puts out multiple devotional thoughts. Yeah. He gives God praise every single day, openly.
Yes. Prays
with his players, encourages them to pray. He raises men. Todd, you and I have cousins who have played for him. I'll name the names: Jordan, Jonathan, who's like a cousin of us in our family, Chris Carter. Mm-hmm. Chris is a doctor now. Mm-hmm. Jonathan's an X-ray tech, I believe. Mm-hmm. Jordan does something in business. Mm-hmm. They're all very successful fathers.
Yep.
Young black men, and they played for him at Prime Prep and Truth Academy and all that other stuff in Pee Wee in Dallas. Mm-hmm. And then I call him my nephew, but mm-hmm. our classmates, Byron and Marva Green, mm-hmm. their son BJ, mm-hmm. is a defensive end for Arizona State. Almost transferred to Colorado this year, but he's a captain, or I think he's a captain with Arizona State. He had a sack last night on ESPN, and he decided to stay for his junior and senior year at Arizona State rather than go to Colorado, but he wanted to, and they wanted him. And it's because Deion is a maker of men. His whole thing is he wants to set up young men for prosperity and for to be good citizens. And that's admirable. And he's unashamedly doing it while telling you he's going to do it, because it's a formula. Mm-hmm. It's not rocket science. You work hard, right? Develop your gifts, stay focused, you know, and produce.
And
when you do that, you're going to have success. It's the bottom line.
Let's make a note of this, folks. He was a coach for over 20 years. And let me tell you something. When you're coaching little kids and Pee Wee and all that stuff in high school and you're moving up the ranks, you learn some tactics of how to groom kids that are nothing and make them somebody. So Coach Prime has been doing this for a long time, and he's been doing it in multiple sports. baseball, football, and basketball. So he's been doing it all levels successful. And folks, let's be realistic. There was a great coach that also coached basketball. I believe he maybe, his name was coached in Green Bay Packers. You know who I'm talking about, the famous Green Bay Packer coach.
Vince Lombardi.
He coached high school and he coached the basketball team and didn't know anything about it. When you can coach men and turn them into men, you can coach anybody and you will always be successful no matter what you do. And that's what Deion has known about himself. He's coaching guys in the NFL. He's coaching guys to be great men. When you coach great men, you're going to be a great coach. And the problem is, I think the microcosm is that unfortunately in a lot of college sports, you have the people that are like the ringmasters and they're not coaching men. They're just coaching for their ego, coaching for their fame. And they say, hey, you just happen to have a byproduct of going to the NFL, not expecting them to go in the NFL and being truthful. If you're not, I'm going to be honest with you. This is what you need to do to make it. And Deion's been doing that. What are your thoughts?
Well, the first thing is college football. So first of all, he's been a successful coach at every level. Hard stop. He's only won at every level. Pee-wee, high school. People who haven't followed his story don't realize he was offensive coordinator at his son's high school, Trinity Christian, where they won multiple state championships under him. In the state of Texas, his son ended up being a top 10 passer all time in Texas, where they're crazy about high school football, right? So he's a legend in coaching in the state of Texas, which is one of the top 5 high school rock beds of football in America. Then he goes to the SWAC, right, with Jackson State. And what people don't realize is he wasn't really coaching Jackson State players. He was coaching 4- and 5-star recruits. I mean, Travis Hunter was the number 1 player in America.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, just because he went to Jackson State, he wasn't the number 1 player in America. That's what I don't get. It's like they want to throw the shade at HBCUs because it's a black school. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, they're not the big boys. They can't play with the big. Forgetting that Jerry Rice, Walter Payton, Shannon Sharp, Jackie Slater, Walter Payton, all came from Michael Strait, all came from HBCUs. All the greatest players of in football history came from HBCUs.
And let's make a point here. In the NFL, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Raiders picked from HBCUs these players. Why do you think the NFL chain and Kansas City, of course, and the other teams, they went to the HBCUs to get top players to play in that league? So what's the real deal behind that?
Well, that was the place that gave him an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
He was recruited there by the athletic director. He had basically had a clean slate. So it's no surprise that he would go to Colorado because he has a clean slate, right?
But Colorado only won 1 game that year, and they were horrendous. His son threw more yardage in one game.
Yeah. Their quarterback threw for 600 yards for a whole season. Yeah, Shador almost threw that in 1 game. So I would say it's an upgrade. but that team is gone. And I want to set the record straight on something again. All of this is out there. This is one of the brilliant things that he did. He's documenting everything he does on social media. His son owns a media company called Well Off Media. So if there's video of everything he's done. Yeah. So from the meetings he had with his Jackson State players when he accepted the call to Colorado, to his press conferences, to when his health struggles with blood clots. I mean, the man literally posted a video of his foot with 8 toes, right? Yeah. He's been transparent about everything. That's why it makes up the haters mad. You can make up lies about him, but they're easily dispelled because there's an audit trail. So when he went to Colorado, he and his staff met with 20 of the guys on the 85-man roster and said, yeah, this is probably not going to work out for you. You may want to hit the portal. Now, the meeting that he had, the infamous meeting where he said, I'm bringing my luggage and it's Louis, right? He was talking about his son. His son Shador, who's been a 4-star quarterback since his sophomore year of high school.
And Travis Hunter.
Right. He's bringing 2 of the best players at their position in the nation. And he's just letting y'all know, like, it's, if you want playing time at those positions, you might want to hit the portal. Right? Yeah. To me, that's an honorable thing rather than just show up, put the guys on the bench and be like, not even talk to them. Those 20 guys, right? They hit the transfer portal And just before the spring game, so his intent was to keep 65 scholarship players from the old team, from the 1-11 team.
Yeah.
And he was going to add his guys and coach them up. But those 50 of those 65 guys quit.
Yeah.
Right before the spring game. So he didn't turn over the roster. They quit when they found out how hard they had to work in order to be excellent, in order to be the next level, in order to achieve, in order to win. Because like I said, there is a formula.
Yes.
And you and I have coached youth sports. If you want to win, it doesn't matter how talented you are, you have to work hard, period. And he has said that. He has said nothing else other than that. And so that's why people should not be surprised. Like, look, no shade to those players. They had a couple years under Durrell, right, to prove themselves, and they were 129th out of 131 teams. Pretty bad. I mean, it's like you get to keep your scholarship, but we're going to fill that spot. And then the 50 other ones quit. So he had to hit the portal in order to fill out his roster. And lo and behold, when he opened up the portal, everybody wanted to play for him. All these 4-star recruits wanted to play for him. And then people started making up their own narrative around it. Oh, his offensive line's too small. He's got 2 guys that are 6'9", 320 pounds on either end.
But let's look at this. Let's look at 2 things
what
here.
What are you saying?
These kids were all in the transfer protocol system already. He didn't go picking people from other teams and say, "Hey, I want your player, come to me." They were already there. He picked the right ones. Hello, knows how to scout correctly. He knows talent when he sees it, and build them up at the same time and say, "Hey, I'm going to make you something you can play for me if you want to work hard." Let's be real.
And now this train has an engine of its own.
Yeah,
because kids want to play with other talented kids.
Yes.
Trust me, Nick Saban, who really wants to go play for Nick Saban? He's a grouchy little old man. The reason why they want to go is because they got a bunch of 5-star players there already.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I have a kid that I coached in basketball, and he was on campus with Saban. He's a defensive tackle, right? He's 6'1", 320 pounds, been playing football since Pee Wee, size 17 shoe. I mean, the kid's huge. Yeah. He was on campus with Saban, and I asked him, I said, how was it? He was like, he's a mean old man. That's what he said. And I said, wow. So now you got Coach Prime, got cool uniforms. You're wearing retro versions of his cleats. You got Warren Sapp on the sideline, T.O., Michael Irvin, Chad Ochocinco. You got NFL guys roaming the hallways like Zimmer and Schumer. You know, I mean, you got Tom Brady giving tips to the quarterback.
The GOAT.
Who doesn't want to? Yeah, who doesn't want to play for Prime? Like right now, all he has to do now is win.
Yeah,
and that's what they're doing, and that's what you can't control. Now that they're winning, I mean, even if they split the rest of their games, they're going to be bowl eligible.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Four games away from being bowl eligible. Let's understand
already.
And they have to play the toughest part of their schedule. The tough part. Let's talk about that.
Okay. All right. So here's the deal. All right. I want to make one point before that. Todd, also always follow the money as well.
Yeah.
Vegas has lost more money in the first 2 weeks on Colorado than they've lost on any NCAA team in the modern era.
Wow.
Let that sink in.
Hey,
the line was 20.5 at TCU, right? For them to lose. They won by 3. That's a 24-point swing. Woo. People made millions of dollars. Then at Nebraska, Vegas changed the line because they thought they would give them 3 points to win. They win by 20 some odd points. They've been obliterating the Vegas line by at least 20 points the first 2 weeks. That in other words, they are out.
That doesn't happen.
That never happens. Vegas is always right.
Yes.
So now they're out people, right? So now you go into Colorado State next week. Colorado State, they're horrible, right? They'll be 3-0 at the end of next week. For the haters that think there's going to be a drop off, Deion never had a drop off as a player. He won't allow them to have a drop off as a team.
Right.
Period. Okay. So now you go into Oregon, right? And like, oh, wait, I've seen all the haters. Wait till they play the big boys. They haven't played anybody yet. Well, neither has USC. They played San Jose State, Nevada, and last night they feasted on a dead carcass called Stanford, right? They ain't played anybody, right? They played a weaker schedule than Colorado has.
And you talk about a coach who just left the team. The coach said, I'm done. This is just too much for me.
Lincoln Riley. I'm gone, right? Okay, so So you go to Oregon, right? Oregon's got a decent defense, and of course we know about their offense with Bo Nix. But Oregon barely beat Texas Tech last night. They needed last second, the quarterback for Texas Tech just kept throwing the ball to Oregon for whatever reasons. He got confused. That's the only reason that they won. Oregon is in for a dogfight. Yeah. And in the Pac-12, there is no such thing as defense.
Right.
So what Colorado has proven is with all of those weapons, they can shoot out with anybody. And they got a puncher's chance with anybody. If they go to Oregon and win, which is a possibility, right? Then USC's got to come to Folsom Field the next week. Probably being undefeated because they haven't played anybody yet, right? Having to play for the first time this season a legit offensive juggernaut on the road. If they get past USC, all bets are off. Because even though they have six ranked teams in their schedule, they will have beaten 3 of them. And the other 3 that's left, Utah, Oregon State, Washington State, or whatever, they're all in the teens. Well, Colorado's now in the teens. Yeah. So if they can get past USC and run the table, I know we're ahead of ourselves. I know the haters are like, oh, pump your brakes or whatever. Colorado could be in the national championship hunt after a 1-11 season. Yeah. And they're going to make movies about this.
Let's just be real about it. He does it with swag, not cockiness. There's a difference. It's confidence and cockiness are 2 different things. But for some reason, when a black man is confident, they call it cocky. If you can do what you say you can do, that's not cockiness. That's just proving I'm right. I mean, Larry Bird did it all the time in the NBA. He told you, I'm going over here left and I'm going to shoot on you behind. Nobody said that he was cocky. He was confident.
Lane Kiffin, cocky.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. He talked more than he could actually produce. And Deion Sanders has delivered everywhere he has gone. He has not been a loser. And it's amazing because, like I said, just going a little bit back at the Nebraska game, there was some shade thrown, not only from the school that didn't even give him an opportunity to even interview him, but then the coach, Matt Rule, going to say, at least when I'm you don't have to worry about me as a coach, for showing you whatever on video. Whatever.
Being in the video.
Yeah, being in the video and stuff. So
it's the Suge Knight line.
Yeah.
Remember when Suge Knight said at the Source Awards, hey, if you don't want a producer who's all up in the videos. So it was shade at Diddy. Everybody knew he was talking about. Yeah. Matt Rule was talking about Deion Sanders. And the crazy thing is that Deion Sanders had nothing but good things to say about Matt Rule. Exactly. He talked about what he did at Baylor. Even though there was some controversy at Baylor, Deion still says, and again, you can go look at all this press conferences. Yeah. I'm not making this up. Yeah. Deion's like, I love what he did at Baylor, even though it didn't work out. Yeah. Obviously, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I have nothing but respect for him. He's a good coach. He said that about TCU as well. Remember, he interviewed for the TCU job. And he said that, they got the right guy in place. He's done a great job. He's going to do a good job. Obviously, took him to the national championship, whatever. He's done nothing but respect all the coaches that have talked bad about him.
Come on.
That's the thing. And then he turns around and beats them. Yeah. This is so satisfying on so many levels. And there have been other Pac-12 coaches because they don't like the shine he's getting. Because guess what? He's been on national TV 2 weeks in a row. Yeah. And guess where College Game Day is going next week?
Colorado, baby. Colorado.
For Colorado State, which is for any Rams fans out there, I'm sorry. They're a trash bag program right now. And College Game Day is coming to Boulder. Why? To see that slaughter? Yeah. Because it's Coach Prime.
And there's nothing else better than watching him. All eyes are on me. Sounds like another rap song. But,
it's hip-hop day.
Yeah, I know. And I think the whole part about it is that people in society do not want to see confident men that happen to be of color, not cockiness, be confident in what they say they're going to do and do it, and then respect their opponent and then deliver on what they say they're going to do, because it upsets this balance of craziness. I don't get it. Think about it. You got Zimmer working for you. Got some guys who, coach very good in the NFL. He knew he had great coaches underneath him.
Look at his coaching staff. He went and got the assistant defensive coordinator from Alabama.
And he came.
So, he got a head coach from Kent State, who was number 7 offense in America last year, to come and be his offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and
look, so he's attracting coaches You know what I'm saying? So here's what's scary. And he said,
Mhm.
when a black man comes in, he's in absolute control. He's picking the music the band is
Yep.
playing.
Yep.
He's picking the colors of the uniforms.
Yep.
What cleats the team is wearing his cleats.
Yeah.
They got commercials with him and his family on KFC, selling KFC during the game. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's got his own brand already, Coach Prime, wearing it on the sidelines. He's in control of everything.
Yeah.
In that football program, and they're winning. And he said it. He said, when a black man is in control of everything, people get scared.
Yeah.
People get a little tight because 76% of the football athletes are of color.
Yeah.
So the question now becomes, who's coming?
Yeah. And let's just be realistic. Nick Saban knew this already when he was coaching at Jackson State. He said it's just a matter of time before everybody's going to play for him. Kind of like John Thompson back in the 80s when everybody wanted to play for John Thompson, number one recruits in the United States. And let's just be realistic, folks. He's a Christian. He's a Christian, and that rubs it in.
Unashamedly.
Yeah. And he's talking about God. And there's a lot of people out there that just want God in name only, but want to live that lifestyle. You know,
and the thing is, when people say, "Oh, he's cocky, he's arrogant, or whatever," brash is probably a more accurate word if we're going to be really, really intricate. Because he when you look at the videos when Shannon Sharp interviewed him, and they're walking around Folsom Field, he's like, "Prime, can you believe this?" He's like, "I thank God."
Yeah.
He's like, I look around and I see God's creation, and it's beautiful in Boulder. If you've ever been there before, he goes, I just walk outside my office like I can't believe it. And he's humble and confident at the same time. People are, oh no, he's not humble. He told her like the press conference last week. He was like, "Do you believe? Do you believe?"
Yeah.
He was talking specifically to writers who wrote the worst and nasty things about him before the game,
rooting for him to lose.
Yeah, he didn't cuss them out. He didn't call them out of their name. He asked them one question: "Do you believe? You believe now?" And there's nothing arrogant about that.
No.
If I work hard, if I do what I'm supposed to do, if I'm gifted and I produce, this is what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
This is the American way.
Yeah.
If I'm a winner, it will come out if all the playing field is even.
Yeah.
If the playing field, if it's even, winners will win. Doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter how many parents you had in your home. You can win if the playing field is even. If I tell you that's what I'm going to do because I have all those elements in place, that's not cocky or arrogance. That's delivering on a promise. And so Deion is delivering on a promise. He said, we're going to win. We're going to win.
And let's just understand, he did not get the best job in the country. That was the worst job. In fact, he should have got Florida State job. Right now,
So I'm gonna push back a little bit on that, Todd.
Okay.
He didn't get the program itself is terrible. It was terrible.
But you got Florida. These are Florida kids. You from Florida.
I think it was the perfect job for him. I think it was absolutely the perfect. It had so.
And Keyshawn agrees with you, by the way.
Yeah, there's a lot of people
that said the same thing.
So I'm gonna say it like this, and I'm not gonna get too deep into it for brevity.
Yeah.
I accepted a job at the beginning of the year that nobody else would probably accept.
Right.
Because of how much stuff was wrong.
Yeah.
But I accepted it because I knew that nobody would push back on the ideas that I had because they were laying face down in the mud. What other option do you have but to listen to me?
That's true.
Right? So if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, if I'm as good as I say that I am, and I work as hard as I do, we're going to have success. And guess what? Nobody's in my way.
Yeah.
So Deion went to a place where literally they could say nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you want to pick the music for the band? Sure. You would pick the color of the uniforms? Sure. And then people are like, no, wait a second. Is it smart? Because when they went to TCU, it was 100 degrees down there.
Yes.
Deion chose the ice cold all white uniforms because he knew, having played in Dallas, that they would need to have a cooling that. You don't understand how smart this guy is, man. He's the details. The details. His attention to detail is impeccable.
Yeah.
So it was a perfect job for him. And again, go back to what his personality is. A lot of people, city slicker. No, he's from Fort Myers, Florida, baby. He fishes with a cane pole, right? He likes to be out on the lake. Man, Colorado's perfect for him.
Yeah.
He's in the country, baby. He's country prime. You know, so it was a perfect fit because they don't not only needed him there, he's running unopposed.
Yeah.
And what do those other guys have? What does Harbaugh have in Michigan? What does Saban have in Tuscaloosa? You know what I mean? They have absolute control of everything.
That's true.
Deion could not go to a program where they were going to whisper in his ear, well, you can't do this, we can't do that. We can't have music in the locker room. Well, you can't videotape everything. Where you can't wear this uniform. Where you can't have your cleats on the kid's feet. You know what I'm saying? He had to say, I've got to come in and apply the formula that wins for me.
Yeah.
And if you did let me do that, it will win for you.
Yep.
And that's what's happening.
And I think that's a good note to kind of end on. Like I said, I'm rooting for him because number one, he's a Christian, he's a man of God, he's making men. Not the fact that he's winning. I love the fact that he's winning, but that's a byproduct of doing the right things correct. And Carlin, you and I both know when you're coaching young men and you coach also young women, there's values that you got put in there and hard work. There's no substitute for it. I'm sorry.
No shortcut.
I lost some talented kids because they didn't want to work hard. And my kids you remember that you were there. They got upset with me and they said, Coach, what are we going to do? We lost some of the best players. I said, you're going to see the difference. We're going to win. And he's going to come back to that team. And sure enough, he came back into that team. Why? Because when you get some hard work and some discipline and what Deion's doing with these kids right now, giving them something for life. And I hope every coach does this. Don't just go for wins and losses. Give them something for life so that when you call them up, they're a doctor, they're a lawyer. Don't be taking advantage of these kids. So, you know.
And that's his, and real quick before we end.
Yeah.
As these stories start to come out about his personal relationship with these players, people are going to cry when they hear this stuff. Jimmy Horn Jr., who's one of the star wide receivers who had 100 yards the first week. Everybody knew about Jimmy coming in. He's 4 or 5 star wide receiver. His dad is incarcerated. His dad said, you go play for Coach Prime because he is going to make sure you're successful in life. And after the game, Jimmy Horn did an interview with Coach Prime, and he said, Coach Prime has stood on everything that he said. He's making sure I'm good emotionally, physically, academically. And he said he stood on every promise that he has made. And he said he sounded just like my pops. And his dad called from jail just before they boarded the plane. As the first time that Coach Deion was able to talk to him in a while. He said, I'm delivering on everything I said I would for your son. He's going to be fine. He's going to be okay. And that those are the kind of stories, you know, in Travis Hunter, his star player, right?
Yeah.
He knows that Coach Prime likes to fish. Yeah. He's giving Coach Prime a different piece to each gift he's giving him. He gave him a reel to the rod and reel. Every week he's been giving him a different piece, so he's like dragging it out. Yeah, because he wants Coach to know that every week that he loves him. And he said he loves that boy like he loves his son. And he said, I don't love him because he's a great athlete. I love him because he's a great human being. Yeah. And when people hear this kind of stuff, they'll understand the success of his program won't be based upon wins and losses. It will be based upon relationships. Yeah. And when you have all that right, and you're gifted, and you have a work ethic, you're going to win. I'm not saying they're going to win a national championship. I'm saying that the man told you, we come, and now they're here.
And folks, well said, Carlin. All I can say is this: he doubled their wins already. He's already a success. If they don't win another game, he's already a success. And they beat some of the top teams, which they haven't beaten in a long time. Unfortunately, I remember when Michigan got beat by Colorado back in the day. Come on, Coach Harbaugh.
and they're doing a record that they broke. His son broke 5 school records. Yeah. I think they broke 11 school records on week 1.
Cordell Stewart called them up upset.
Yeah, Cordell was upset.
And so back to my thing there, too. I hope Chris Carter, I hope you're listening to this show. I hope you get an opportunity like Coach Prime did and take it, because I know you're a great coach, too, because you did the same thing that Coach Prime did. And I hope there's a lot of other coaches out there that need that opportunity. I hope
Warren Sapp.
Yes.
Michael Irvin. I hope they all get opportunities if they want them. T.O.
Yeah.
But they're all on the sideline of Colorado, so they got a couple of years. But once they learn from Coach Prime, because you know he it's more than what people think. Yes. The man's been coaching for 20 years.
Yes. Right.
So he's going to teach the rest of these Hall of Famers, and then it's going to be up to the schools. But I don't think there's going to be a pushback, because all Deion's got to do is keep winning.
Yeah.
And it will open doors for guys who deserve a chance.
Yes. So with that in mind, folks, when you work hard, that's the real American way. Not this whole glass thing, moving the bar. Let's see what he can do next. No, give him what he deserves. And when they prove it, and do it. So with that in mind, folks, I'm a Coach Prime fan. I know you are too. We're still praying and we're rooting for you because you're a Christian and you're making men. And that's the example America needs. So till next time, we'll see you on Mom and Dad Talks. Thanks, CJ.